Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to sew a face mask. They are really quick and easy to do. You can just use some basic materials. We've got some cotton fabric, elastic, and some fusing. If you don't have any cotton fabric to hand, you could use a tea towel or a t-shirt or a pillowcase. You can work with what you have available. I think your first one might take you about half an hour because you'll be concentrating, but once you get the basic techniques down, I think you could whip one up in about 10 minutes. So let me show you what you'll need. So for this project, you're going to need your basic sewing kit to start off with. So you'll want a measuring tape or a ruler, scissors or a rotary cutter, and pins, sewing machine, and an iron. You're then going to want some nice cotton fabric. Here I've got two colors because I'm going to do one for my outer and then one as a lining. And in between those two layers, I've got my interfacing, which is fusible. That's going to give some extra bulk to my mask. If you don't have that, it's okay. Maybe use 3 layers just to give it a little bit of extra bulk. And then you're also going to want some elastic. Now, the only thing I had in my stash was this rather thick elastic. But all I did was I first cut it in half and then in half again, and it still holds up great. Just cut it like in between the lines where the actual elastic fibers are, and it's fine. If you don't have any elastic at all, you can use ribbon in a pinch. So let's get started. So start out by cutting rectangles of your outer, main, and interfacing. You are going to want them to measure 6 inches by 9 inches, which is 15 by 23 centimeters. And then for your elastic, you're going to want those to be 7 inches long or 18 centimeters long. I have heard that the thinner, the more comfortable. So, you know, this is about ½ centimeter wide now. I think that should be good and should hold up very well. Once you've got those cut, fuse your interfacing to your outer fabric, and then we'll start stitching. So I'm just about to fuse my interfacing to my outer piece. I've put a nice sheet of just plain cotton down to protect my ironing board in case any measurements go off. And I've got my interfacing here with the textured side against my fabric piece. The textured side is the side that has the glue dots. So I'm just going to press that all down and then it will be nicely fused. That's nicely fused now, and here you can see I've got my piece and I've placed it fused side face down, and I've taken my 2 elastic pieces and I've pinned them here. I've pinned them about 1½ centimeters from the top and the bottom on either side, making sure that your elastic doesn't get twisted. And now I'm going to take my lining piece and I'm going to put it on top here and I'm going to pin it down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew all the way around, doing a few extra stitches where the elastic is, with about a sort of centimeter, ½ centimeter seam. I'm going to sew all the way around, but I'm going to leave a gap on this side because we're going to turn our mask inside out. In case any of you haven't done this before, when you reach a corner, stop roughly about where your seam's going to follow, lower your needle down, lift up your foot, and then you can just swing your piece around and then lower your foot and keep on sewing. There we go, that's all sewn all the way around, and here you can see I've got my gap here. I've left a gap there, and you can see I've gone forwards and backwards on both ends there, so the stitching is really secured. So I'm now going to open this flap and I'm going to turn my bag inside out and then press it. That's right side out now, and you can see I still have my hole here, my gap, and that will get sewn down in the next step. Before I press this, I just wanted to say be careful not to press your elastic, because a lot of them are made from materials that just don't react well with the irons. You might melt them, you might get it kind of stuck to your mask. So don't iron your elastic, but we're just going to sort of press the edges down as daintily as we can so they lie nice and flat. Okay, that's now nicely pressed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my pleats for my mask so that it expands to cover my mouth and nose. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little tuck like that, about 2 centimeters from the top. And I'll just quickly pin that down. There we go, that's one side, and then the other side. like so. And now I'm going to do that again in the same direction, about 2 centimeters from the bottom. So what you want is you want that edge to still measure about 9 centimeters or about 3 inches. And so get those folded, pinned, and then we'll press them flat. Okay, so there we go. That has been folded and pinned and pressed down. I've made sure not to press my elastic because it might melt. And we've got our final step here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew all the way around this time, around the full mask, and that will seal down our pleats. It will also seal that gap that we had before from when we turned our mask right side out, and then it will be complete. And I'm going to do that about 1/2 centimeter from the edge. So I'm going to go sew that now. And there we go, your mask is all done. I've sewn all the way around the edges, done a little backwards and forwards at the start and end to keep it nice and secure. And you can see, here we go, we've got a nice turquoise for the back, purple for the front, and it expands beautifully so that it can go nicely around your nose and your mouth and hook onto your ears. Good luck, have fun, stay safe, and enjoy your sewing.